The Telegraph now, and it's Saturday night. It's gone 11, so it must be time for Josh to get angry about trans issues.
Woo, woo, woo! Trans maternity report backed by NHS could have harmed women. So this is a new study that looked at this report by the LGBT Foundation, and they found it to be methodically flawed. The NHS, by the way, spent a lot on this report, but they were going to spend £100,000 to retrain their staff on the basis of this report. And it turns out the report basically was looking into trans men or people who are non-binary and their experiences during childcare, during the birth process. And from this report, they were like 30% of non-binary didn't receive any care at all from the NHS. And that just turned out to be an absolute lie, because 82% said that they did have like antenatal care and stuff like that. So it was a badly worded questions in it. Turns out that they only used 4 people's experiences in this report, and one person basically said that they didn't feel that supported. They were like, right, because of this one person, we're now going to stop using the word women. We're going to say chest feeders. And we're going to do this all to be inclusive of this one person. Yet, because of that, the unintended consequences are that the people who don't speak English as a first language and people who aren't medically literate, maybe, and all those people would then be excluded and could be put to harm. So it's great that they're looking more into this kind of stuff and into the madness that have sort of taken over our institutions. But as they pointed out, it's quite dangerous. What other reports have gone out there, and not even related to the trans issue, but in terms of like the diversity reports, which is a good thing. But when you look into the actual stuff, how much of it is flawed?
Well, they talk about, actually, the COVID things. It doesn't have to be a diversity issue at all. This is what the headline actually kind of makes it seem like it's a different story. The story should be about bad science and bad research. And it actually says in it, because this was about gender issues, then maybe it got caught. Whereas if bad research is happening all over the place, we've got big problems.
Or in this case, instead of bad science, try no science. So this is activism leading to policy change, which is what this report by Oxford, Coventry and West of England, Bristol University has come up with. So in order to accommodate a tiny minority, they have changed the whole language. And it's interesting that it mentions non-native English speakers. Imagine this immigrant woman has just come to this country, she's using the NHS, and she thinks she has learned English. All of a sudden, she's faced with words such as chest feeder and birthing person and all that kind of stuff, as if corporate diversity training was not bad enough. At the BBC, we had the LGBT, ethnic minority, Muslim telling us how to use the English language. And we were like, based on what? Because corporations cowering to all these diversity trainings to look good. And now at NHS level, you have something that can be actually, according to this report, detrimental to the health of the majority of people, because communication gets so confused.
Let's not miss the context, though, that the suggestions of this report were already turned down because the clinicians said this is rubbish, and the NHS listened to the clinicians before the additional research proved that the science was very...
But we've seen NHS websites changing and using exactly this language that has been put forward and has already been on the website. So even though this particular report, this £100,000 they're going to spend, they have spent many hundreds of thousands of pounds implementing other reports on these kind of issues. And also, how much does it cost to do these reports in the first place?
Yeah, although if you're going to do them right would be the way to look at the science, wouldn't it?